I know that it's probably more necessary now more than ever in this era of AI and the acceleration of AI on social media. Having real, raw connections with people is going to be one of your greatest abilities to transact.
You're saying like, hey, I don't really love networking. I'm starting to understand it. And I said, well, I don't love it either. I've just seen the power of it with my goals of where I want to be. Networking is a part of it.
Has there been someone you've ran into where you just appreciate their approach over another? Or what would be your advice to someone who ends up in a room with someone of much higher success and how they can maximize that interaction?
There's a lot of business owners. There's a lot of people that would love to connect with you. It's like, hey, dude, we have this really amazing business right now. It's a franchise model. We have this amazing media center. Like, I'd love to have you out, show you what we're doing, help contribute to like your social media. Like, you just find different areas that you can contribute to their life. And sometimes it hooks and sometimes it doesn't.
Welcome to the Premium Mindset, the weekly podcast where homegrown entrepreneurs and business owners, Evan Ritchie and Cameron Bodden, share the good, the bad, and the ugly of modern entrepreneurship and reveal what really happens behind the scenes of their personal and professional lives. As owners of two of America's fastest growing and most disruptive companies, Coconut Cleaning and Green Mango Pest Control, stay tuned for real stories, struggles, insight, and advice from real entrepreneurs in real time.
Okay, we're talking about a sensitive topic, one that I have pushed back on for too long. And at the end of it, you guys will come to realize that I value this topic, and I know that it's probably more necessary now more than ever in this era of AI and the acceleration of AI on social media. Having real, raw connections with people is going to be one of your greatest abilities to transact, is who you know and what you do with who you know. So with that being said, Cameron, on your office wall, you have show me your friends and I'll show you your future. I've taken that a little bit further because what I thought was super cool about you in starting to partner with you, and I'm being genuine right here, was that, and I think you could look at it, regardless of, I'm speaking specifically to the financial success of your friends in your circle. So coming into Hype Farm at the time, creating Coconut Cleaning with you and Dusty, I always thought it was so cool that like in your guys' immediate 5-6 friends,
Yeah.
every single one of you on paper made it in terms of business success. And I think there's a whole different world to what the success has done, family life, all that. But one of the biggest things where I'm like, dude, I'm guaranteed going to make it, was looking at your friends and saying, they've all made it. I got this. And so I've always believed in the power of having a close circle, but I feel like that show me your friends, show me your future, that net has kind of broadened for you. And you really started going all in on widening that circle and increasing your network to further your businesses and friendships.
Yeah, I think what's funny about it is like when we were talking about this, preparing for it, like you're saying like, hey, I don't really love networking. I'm starting to understand it. Sure. And I said, well, I don't love it either. I've just seen the power of it. And Megan, our CMO, was like, I think you like it more than you say.
Right.
And then you said a line just at the beginning that like, put your head down for the first 6 years and just grind out and work. And then you can pick up and network. That's what I heard you say, right? That's what we did. Like we did that for 10 years. Like we didn't have buddies in the industry that we would go like, the only person I had, and I called him twice, was Mike Fleming at Moxie.
Oh yeah.
And one of them was for a price increase letter. And another one was like something to do with a technician. But like other than that, we weren't part of these like communities. We weren't part of these groups. And times have changed. I get that because it wasn't popular to share what you were doing. Like everyone was holding things, close to their chest. And then you got like the guy like Tommy Mello who comes out probably in 2020, 2021 and starts like sharing everything. And then it seemed like it became popular, right? But it's kind of an interest. So like as much as I want to talk about how much networking has blessed my life, like a lot of my early on success, it wasn't networking at all. In fact, like I tried to avoid people as much as possible because I just wanted to like do my own thing.
So here, and let me just state the final, here's where I stand with it. You need to network, you need to show up. But let me share like the evolutionary process of the thinking. And I hope that along that way, if you are a part of any one of those areas where you're like, yeah, I don't like it, or hey, I really want to. I want to get into rooms with big people, but it's like a dog chasing a car. Like, I don't even know what the dog's going to do when it catches it at a red light. It's like, so if you get into that room, you're like, oh, there's Tommy Mello. Oh, there's Cameron. And you're like, I don't even know what to say. That is where I do feel like there is a power in maybe that 2010 to 2019 era where a lot of people were keeping their cards to their chest. Like, I also feel like you have to do a thing a certain amount of time to have to know what questions to ask when the opportunity presents itself. Now, I think there's always going to be a time for, prior to starting a business, saying, hey, big business person, what loopholes can I bypass? What, fails where can I shorten the learning curve? But I do really feel like there is a power in creating something that allows the acceleration of your questions to have more meaning in the application. Because when you meet with someone who's meeting with 100 business owners before he starts, how many of them towards 80 to 100 are going to be like, dude, you just got to start. Like,
Right.
You got to start going. So there is some level of it where I would say I'm grateful that 8 years in is probably where I hit my mark of like, I need a network. And because I have so many things to talk about.
That's an interesting point, because at the beginning it's like, dude, you got to, like, you don't know enough to ask me the right questions.
Right.
Like, just go out, get your feet wet, figure it out. Right. And then year 3, year 4, or, you could do a revenue mark, at least $1 million minimum, 3 million. Like, now I can help save you $1 million. Like, I can help you avoid mistakes. I can help you, put the right systems in place. But until then, it's like, you're not like,
Right.
you just want to encourage people.
Right.
But like, I think about that. And so, one of our prime examples of networking is our most recent partner, Jeff Duden.
Yeah.
Who's sold over 200 franchisees. We've done a premium or a Flying High with Cam podcast. So if you want to, watch that, go back and watch it.
And Jeff Duden's podcast.
And well, that's what I'm saying. On Flying High, we did Jeff Duden, and he talked about networking. And then,
then you went on his podcast. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then I went on his podcast, but also we did a playbook off of that podcast in the 1% Club. So if you're a member of the 1% Club, there's a networking playbook that kind of that's not what this episode is about. We're just telling raw stories. Yeah. But like, if you want like framework of good questions to ask, how to prepare, like, we broke that down and it's in the playbook or within the 1% Club. But I think back and analyze, okay, how long ago was that now? Let's see.
When we first met, like, for
was
lunch,
I still in Green Mango? Yeah, it was a dinner with Tommy.
No, so that dinner you had exited.
Just recently exited?
Just recently exited.
So maybe a year ago.
Because you were looking at the Transit and you're like, oh, I think I want to get a Transit. Because I remember after the dinner.
Sprinter.
Or a Sprinter. Yeah,
I'm just
my
kidding.
bad.
No,
yeah. You saw
sometimes
Tommy
I call it a
Sprinter.
van and I'm like, I feel like a soccer mom. I can't call it a van. I got to call it a Sprinter.
And I'm on board with that. I'm
on board with that.
It's the shaggin' wagon, but my
you better not have shagged in it, man.
No, I was 5 guys in there.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, soup kitchen.
You got something to say?
Dirty Mike and the boys. But I remember it was a more recent exit for you because you saw them get in the Sprinter and you were like, dude, I think I might want one of those. So
yeah, so we're at the time 7 to 8 years into Coconut. Yep. We've experienced a lot. We've experienced a lot from Green Mango. And you came to me and said, hey, Tommy's good buddies with this guy named Jeff. He's the guy for franchising.
Yep.
Can you get a meeting with them? I was like, I don't know. Shot Tommy a text, and it just so happened to be that he was coming into town within like 2 weeks from that text. Hey, come to dinner with us. So we went to dinner, and just a normal dinner. We talked, and it was funny. Like, I joke, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast. Jeff was like, all right, man, like you were kind of quiet the whole time. And he's like, all right, man, I'm like, it looks like if I had to like read the room, you have a list of questions. So you want to get them over with.
Yeah.
And you like pulled out your phone and you had your 20 questions, which was funny. And then we went to a home service freedom event with Tommy, like at Top Golf. And then it was like, hey, do you want to come back to the house and just hang out? We'll keep talking, whatever. Tommy loves Golden Tee. Let's go play some Golden Tee. And we did that. And we ended up hanging out and having a great, like another 2 hours there till 11, 12 o'clock at night. And like, that's what networking is to me, is like finding a common friend that you know that could benefit you, and just say, hey, like, is there an opportunity for you to introduce me to this person? I would love to learn. In our case, it was about franchising, because we have the relationship with Tommy and everything there. Is like, yeah, sure, he's coming to town, let's do this. And you just organically go to an event or go to dinner, and like we didn't know what was going to happen at the house after. It's just like, hey, do you guys want to come hang out? It's seen like, okay, these are when like the fun conversations happen. That's not scripted. It's just organic.
Yeah.
And, and then you fast forward, let's call it 8-9 months later, like now he's a partner at Coconut, which wasn't our original intention at the time. Right. But it's like, hey, our interests are aligned. We can help out each other. And that's when I think about how beautiful like networking is. And that's where I tell Liz, I'm like, man, anytime I get invited on a trip now, like I really don't love leaving. Like I have a pretty busy schedule. I like to be with my kids, but every time I go, there's so much value comes from the people that I meet and connections that happen that it's like, I gotta go, but I still do like fight it within. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you're loving what we're talking about, but you're still confused of where to go and how to accomplish it, that's exactly why we started the 1% Club. We go through playbooks that teach you exactly how to do it and when to do it. And so I want you to click the link below that talks about the 1% Club and want you to join with us.
And I think I'm going to ask a question on that. Is there any part of you where it's like the guy that did 14 years scaling the business, made a huge exit? Is there the part of you that because you keep benefiting from more relationships in terms of new things, new investment opportunities, is there any part of you where it's like, dude, when does that stop? Where it's, if I meet more people and that turns into more little trips or more golf invitations, whatever, like I want to make sure I stay rooted and, being close to my family and maximizing the relationships I already do have? Or is it just like...
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to, and this is where I've had to, I gave a training, was it last week at the 1% Club? It's our monthly call, the last Wednesday of the month. Yeah. I think it was last week. We talked about quadrants from Covey's book, 1 through 4. And when I look at networking with what I'm trying to do, like with my goals of where I want to be, networking is a part of it. Then the second bracket becomes, okay, like who am I going to spend time with? I was pitched on something. I don't want to like get too far down into it, but it's like I was pitched on something that could have helped me with notoriety in my brand, which I'm trying to do because that brings more 1% Club members, which brings more partnerships to roll up. But it wasn't in line with like people that I was associated with, that I would have been associating myself with. And so I said no to it. But that's a perfect example of being like, okay, it's checking one box, but because it's not checking both boxes, I'm saying no. There's, I got invited to next Monday go out to Palm Springs with this guy and play the PGA West course. And at first it was like, it's like, it's champagne problems is how it's been told to me, is like, I got to fly the helicopter. It's like, I got to fly out there, man. We got to go play golf and come back. And I got to reschedule this meeting and that meeting. And like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just going to say no. I just want to hang out with the fam and do I'm so focused on 1% Club right now that I'm like, I just want to work on that. But then it's like a gut check. You're like, no, this guy's a great guy. Like I've spent time with him before. And it's like, I'm going to go there and I don't know what's going to happen, but I just know he's in line with what I'm wanting to do. And so I'm going to go put forth the effort and go and see what happens.
Okay. So question for you. This is all evolving. This is off script. So I apologize. This is in my mind, how I might look at networking, because I don't want to look at it as like where some people get ego checked, where, I asked one of my technicians here last night, I just said, hey, like, she was just saying like, hey, I really want to get better at sales, communication. And I just said, is there any current entrepreneurs or any type of social media platform that you resonate well with? And she's like, I don't idolize anyone. I'm like,
This was a office member?
no, as our one female technician.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, hey, like, I'm not saying that, is there someone you worship, but is there someone that you do enjoy consuming their social media for face value of what it is? So let's break networking into 3 groups, where the first tier is you're an individual and you're in a room with someone that clearly is at a pinnacle. They've accomplished a pinnacle much higher than your own. The next group I'd say is like where you are networking with someone where whatever could come of it is mutually transactional or transformational, where it's like you guys have both accomplished some pinnacle of success, where after a certain level of revenue, it's kind of just like, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? And then it's back to that first one, but it's from this person's perspective, which is where I'd put you and a few others, where it's like you are at a point of high accomplishment. And each person over here experiences all 3, where you're talking to somebody that is less in accomplishment. You're talking to someone of equal accomplishment, but maybe different missions and goals right now. And then you're also talking to somebody of more accomplishment. So first one, you're Cameron, a lot of accomplishment, a lot of success, right? And I think you'd even spit back to like, dude, there's so many people I'm in the rooms. But that's my point, is that if you are the average entrepreneur out there and you find a Cameron or you find a Tommy, or let's say they get into 1% club and there's just an opportunity where Tommy's on for a call, or Casey Baugh. Has there been someone you've ran into where you just appreciate their approach over another? Or what would be your advice to someone who ends up in a room with someone of much higher success and how they can maximize that interaction?
How they approached me, or like...
Yeah, like, is there someone that clearly either starting their business, they're in their first 2 years and they're at 250,000, where you're like, man, I just really like how you approached me from a student perspective, and it immediately allowed me to give you value, versus like someone else where you're like, I really didn't care for that approach that much.
I mean, if people try and like, not big league me, because they're not doing that, but like if they try and like puff up and try and act like they're someone that they're not, like that immediately turns me away.
Gotcha.
But if someone comes to me in like humility and just like, hey bro, like I've seen your stuff, I love what you've done, just want to say like, great, you know. So Austin, you remember Austin, the salesman? Yeah.
Brooks, yeah.
He texted me this morning, and I like, this is like what's so cool. Let me see if I can find it really fast.
Yeah.
He said, hey Cam, I was thinking on some career stuff today and realized how much I've looked up to your example and the life you've lived and created. Seeing you reap the rewards of all that hard work is awesome to watch. Thanks for showing me what's possible. I don't know if he has an alternative motive. I don't know what's going to come next in a week from now or whatever, but it's like the little things like that, little touch points, are what I appreciate with people, of just being like, hey man, like love what you're doing, and just nothing in return, but just a fan that way. And like the other side of it is just like no intent, no ask, no nothing. It's just, you're just there and contributing and you're listening.
See, I hear the feedback, and it would resonate for my little levels of success. Like I would respond well to that too, but I feel like sometimes I just want people to get what, like, hey, what can I do? What can I help you with? And it's not to like, hey, let's rush this. But if I get a DM, maybe with a kind comment, and I say, hey, thanks, and then like the questions start, it's like, okay, here it is. So to the entrepreneur out there who finds themselves in a room with somebody of much higher success, and there's a little bit of acknowledgement, is there, in context is always going to matter. I know we can create a bunch of situations out of this, but what is something that, like, if someone could prepare themselves for that opportunity, or let's say that they know you're going to go to an event where that guy's going to be there. So if I had a second, is it like, hey, don't dump a lot of context, just say, hey, like, what would you quickly share for, I'm at this stage of business?
You're like saying, how do you connect with the guy?
Well, yeah, because that's where a lot. I mean, I'm not going to try to get your head too big, but occasionally somebody will ask me like, "What's it like
Oh my
partnering
gosh.
with Cameron?" I'm like,
I think the greatest connection tool is like finding a mutual friend. So our Jeff dude, an example, like Tommy was the connection. We would have never gotten time
which is
with Jeff.
still crazy what you're saying though. It's like
Yeah,
Tommy
like,
Billionaire was our connection to another one. Like,
but like that's your greatest. So number one, that's your greatest opportunity. Find someone that knows them that'll introduce you. If you don't have that opportunity, have the hype man. We've talked about that. So you go up and you meet him, and it's like, if hey, you know, Tommy, nice to meet you, bro. And Evan's like, hey, Tommy, I just want you to know, like, Cameron won't brag about himself, but this is what he's done. And someone else is building credibility for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I like, you know, that's important, having the hype man. JD's a great example. Like, he knows all the, I don't really fanboy athletes. I think it's cool what they've accomplished and everything, but JD mentions all these athletes all the time. I'm like, sorry, like, who, I kind of feel like you sometimes, like, who is this? What are they doing? But again, because they see JD as a common friend, and then JD introduces me, it's like immediate respect and at least like listening. And then all I try and do is like find something, a common ground of something that we could do, which is having an offering. So Casey Baugh, when he meets someone, it's, hey, you should come on our next golf trip. We're going to Sage Valley. What I do is I get a bunch of high level individuals together. We go on golf trips and we network and we talk about different business opportunities. Like, that's his offering when he meets someone. Hey, like, one of my offers is like, dude, look, I've been flying for 20 years. I'd love to take you up in the helicopter. Like, we go experience Arizona in a different way. And I have a podcast. I'd love to interview you sometime. Or like, dude, do you love golfing? Like, let's go golf. You try and a lot of people, when you first meet someone like that, it's like that probably won't work. But if you have a friend that's like a common ground. So have you heard of the guy? I'm going to butcher this, man, because I haven't heard of him before either. But it's like
Moses.
It's like Milano. He's a famous golfer. JD's gonna get so mad at me for not knowing his name. He's got 1 million followers.
Tiger
We're sitting
Woods,
on my.
That's it.
Okay, we're sitting on my tailgate last night. Gosh dang it! I wish I was better with this. But anyways, the guy's got 1 million followers. Okay, and he's like a golf influencer. And JD FaceTimes him yesterday, and he's like, "Hey, I want to introduce someone special to me right now." I was like, "Dang, JD, that sounded a little weird." Right? But it's like, I was like, "Hey, JD was like, dude, you need to come down here. We need to go on the helicopter." He's like, dude, I've never been on a helicopter. And I said, look, I'll just fly to LA. We'll go to one of your golf courses. I'm sure one of them will allow us to land at the course, and we'll go like have a day. And he's like, dude, I love that. You tell me when. So I get it. Not everyone has a helicopter. Not everyone has those things, but like, you find the things that you have. So let's take it to Coconut. There's a lot of business owners. There's a lot of people that would love to connect with you. It's like, hey, dude, we have this really amazing, business right now. It's a franchise model. We have this amazing media center. Like, I'd love to have you out, show you what we're doing, help contribute to like your social media. Like, you just find different areas that you can contribute to their life. And sometimes it hooks and sometimes it doesn't. We talked about, my Pace experience. It's like, was connected through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And like, I sent him a gift after, haven't heard from him, tried to reach out, he ghosted me, and we had a mutual friend. And it's like, I'm not taking offense to it. I know he's busy, he's traveling across the country, but again, like, that's an example where warm contact, went on the podcast, great experience, great conversation, tried to do the follow-up thing after, and just didn't hit. And that's okay. Like, I'm not gonna write any stories. I'm not gonna give up. I'm sure our paths will cross in the future.
I just had an experience with franchisees because Cameron and I are still building a national company, and I was able to illustrate to them how important it is to stay on top of their leads, that before they pass it off to a family member, that they need to have the SOPs that we already have. So it's clear, the stats are out there. Franchising is an accelerator for you to not only start a business, but to be able to grow at a pace that just starting a regular company, you just can't do. So if you're interested in franchising with us at Coconut Cleaning and you want to jump into a system that's ready to go, click the link below, and we'd love to talk to you soon. So let's finish with circling back to something that you had mentioned briefly, which is if someone or something project-wise is not in alignment with your brand, it's a no, right? So I struggle at times. With meeting people, and I'm just like, I just kind of get that weird feeling. I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah, you are weird about that, which I
No, but
appreciate.
like,
It's
like,
not
you know,
weird. It's like, you are kind of like, It's like, dang, dude, give him a chance.
And but it's not a judgmental thing. It's just more so like, I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel about moving forward in conversation, because we've had a lot of people where I've been in the room with you and they're like, hey, let's do something with Coconut. And like, just immediately I'm like, no, like, I don't know. So as you've met all these new people and as you've been introduced on different projects, different investment opportunities, different come hang, has there been a time where you felt like you were in a room, maybe after traveling or whatever, and you kind of were just like, hey, I'm not really on board with the conversation. I'm not really on board with.
Luckily that hasn't happened, but I could see how quickly it could happen, because you go on a golf trip with a bunch of dudes and, you know, like that could turn sideways real quick.
Yep.
And now you're like, you feel awkward if you're the only one being like, this never happened, but if people brought like drugs out or girls to the room or something, it's like, you know, you kind of feel that pressure of 10 dudes.
Yeah.
And you're like, as you know, like I'd hope I'd walk out, you know, like, but like that's never happened to me, luckily. And so
I too have never had the pressure of 10 dudes, but no, that is something that I think it's important to highlight is protecting your reputation. And then I think on the other side of it, which is while you're building your reputation, make sure that one thing that I want to give you a shout out to, and where it's always, and I don't think you and I have had many kind of forks in the road where it's like, man, let's really look at the direction of where we're going. But what has always made it easy for me to continue and going for more, doubling down on my business, is like, you've always been your word. And I've seen you probably on one hand with 5 different people take the financial brunt of a sold business, taking on the debt, of, hey, look, I don't remember saying that, and you clearly do, and we're parting ways here. So like, I'm just going to go with what you're saying, even though I know that just wasn't what was said. And so here's this, you know, payout, here's this, whatever. Is on the other side of protecting your reputation with the new people you meet, you have to be someone that is your word and follow through with your agreement, with your commitments. And I don't think I said this just because I left early, but when we were looking at the new building, the realtor came up to me, and it was Kim. And Kim started talking to the property manager, and she said, "Are you Cameron?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not Cameron." I said, I'm his business partner for Coconut. She's like, "Oh man, I look forward to meeting you guys. Like, you guys have a great reputation." I'm like, "Oh, I appreciate that." I'm like, what do you mean by that? Because you don't hear that much. And I didn't want to like put her on blast if she's lying, but she's like, "Oh, what did she say specifically?" She just said something along the lines of like, every person that I've interacted with about your partner, it's always just, I've heard great things.
Oh, that's nice.
And I think that at the foundation of any networking principle,
that's a good point.
As a foundational piece to any type of networking conversation, again, I'm completely on board. Cameron is not all about networking, and it doesn't fuel him every day to, you know, meet a million new people. And I know that. And I would just share to the demographic out there that like, man, I feel like maybe I'm awkward, or maybe I don't know what to say. I don't know how to, you know, do anything with a relationship because maybe I don't have as much to offer. I think when you meet people and you are a genuine person and you have a good reputation with the little network that you do know, is that you should never take that for granted. If you have 10 interactions right now, 3 employees, a business partner, and, you know, a couple friends, make sure that how you are with them is how you always want to be, not only treated yourself, but you elevate yourself and your standards so that you eventually find yourself in rooms with people that are accomplishing things that you want to, as well as people that are going to help you get there. Because at the core of what we're all trying to do, the only thing that lasts are people that take care of others and they keep their word. And so I'm grateful to have a relationship, a partnership with Cameron that has got me into a lot of rooms. It's got me 2 amazing additional partners. And I just know that regardless of how you feel about networking, it's necessary. And again, in this era of AI and a bunch of fake stuff, the best thing that you could do is to have the real interactions, real friendships, and real networks that are going to help support you now and in the future.